I thought Jim had closed all those places down.
I did. He's opening them up again.
You're opening them up again.
Well, it is at Edinburgh,
Edinburgh. It's a lovely city.
Newcastle,
Newcastle.
Yes.
Leicestershire,
Light.
Leicester, Birmingham, Cornwall, Windsor, Portsmouth, Bournemouth, Croydon, Eastbourne, all of them, a lot of them.
That must be very tough. I mean, what are the hazards of touring for you?
Well, I did a tour about, I guess, five years ago at this time, in October. Not as many places as this, but the main thing is the theaters. The people are very nice because they don't get as many shows as they do in London or Birmingham or Manchester, but the theaters are old and they're cold. So I brought a heater this time.
Portable heater.
A portable heater.
What a very wise idea.
Yes.
What was it like though when you went back to when you look back on the days that you've been touring? I mean, you've been working singing since you've been 8, haven't you? What are you two doing?
Not at all. Something that never opened our mouths, sir. Just, I think it's advancing senility, bringing his own hot water bottle. Come on, you've given yourself away now.
No, but I mean, it really is, you know, the theaters are rather old and they don't have any heat in the dressing room.
No.
So rather than sit there and freeze, I brought a heater. But I remember when I was first starting singing alone, after my brothers and I had disbanded the act with Kay Thompson. And I didn't want to sit down in my clothes because I didn't have enough money really to have them pressed every night. So I would, and there wasn't a dressing room, I remember, in this one place. So I was in with the meat, in the meat locker. And I hung my clothes up on a hook next to the sides of beef and sat there in my shorts and read a book so that I wouldn't have to sit in my clothes and get them wrinkled.
How rough were these places that you played?
Well, they were pretty, they weren't really rough, I guess, like beer drinking places, but it was rough for me because nobody would listen to me. I mean, I'd be singing a song and people would get up and walk in front of you. And,
I have the same trouble. You have the same trouble, are you?
you know, to go to the men's room, or what's really embarrassing is when you're doing your act and people get up and dance. I used to work in a tuxedo, and I was working in this one little place in Pittsburgh. I'll never forget it. I was standing by the cash register, ready to go on, and the man was introducing me. And I was so worried about getting fired or losing my job. And I was about to go on. He said, here's a young man that I heard sing in New York. And I felt this gun in my back. And the guy said, open the cash register. And he thought I was the maitre d'. Because I was the only one with the tuxedo on. And I said, I don't know how to open this cash register. He said, I'm telling you, open it up or, you know, you're going to get it. And about that time, the guy said, here he is, Andy Williams. I said, excuse me, I've got to go on. And I went on stage, and when I got up there, I looked around, and he's still standing there with his gun, very confused and not knowing what to do. He couldn't believe that I was willing to get shot rather than get fired.
Things have changed a bit. You've just, in fact, played this concert tour of America, and you just finished at the Hollywood Bowl.
Hollywood Bowl is a very interesting place to play. It's very large. For those watching that don't know about the Hollywood Bowl, I know you do. It's an outdoor place, seats about 20,000 people. And they're down in front are boxes. And people buy them, corporations buy them. They've had them, they've passed them down, and they're wills to their children. They're very difficult to get. As a matter of fact, there was one incident where, maybe more, but this was in the paper, about a couple getting a divorce, and they had the same lawyer. And everything was worked out very easily. I mean, the property settlement, the money, the visiting rights of the children, when they were going to do this, the summer home, everything, until it got down to who got the box at the Hollywood Bowl. And that was, then it all stopped. And people bring picnic baskets, but not just little ones. They try and outdo the person who has the box next door. And sometimes they will bring their butler, and they'll have candelabras there, and they'll have...
It's like Barnsley Football Club.
Nothing's like that.
But it was a big thrill that I enjoyed it. I think more than anything I've ever done. Working with the Los Angeles Philharmonic Orchestra, and Johnny Williams conducted. It was just great. Beautiful night.
I asked Jimmy there earlier on about what it was like when he was a pop star on the road, you know. And
I was once, you know.
Ladies, yes, indeed he was.
I've heard
I
that.
remember the day.
What you like, Michael, what I was reminding Andy just before we came on, my early days of interviewing Mrs. Thatcher, she wasn't Prime Minister then, she always used to say very quietly, could you include an Andy Williams track for me, please, when I'm on? She's a great fan of his. And so one day I said to my producer, listen, why don't we, for the next time she comes up, why don't we get Andy to autograph an LP for her? The next time she came on, I said, I've got a present for you. And I gave her this Andy Williams LP. You would think she was the president of his appreciation
Do you
society.
realise after that story you'll never sell another record?
He might, on the other hand, he might be the man to make her turn round. Change policies.
U-turns.
Turn her head.
Turn her head even, yeah.
Never know.
Of course, it just suddenly occurred to me as you're sitting here, you might not know this, but I'm the only person sitting here who's not had a #1 record. Because Sir Wogan there got a #1 record.
I didn't know he was a singer.
You're so right. He's not a singer, but he got a #1 record.
I'm an interpreter,
He's an interpreter.
It's a dramatic
He
interpretation.
interpreted the floral dance. I must tell you,
Yes.
it was terrible.
It's very I can't because the Hooter is a bit stuck. The Bronicles are clogged. That prevents me, but otherwise I would, of course, give you a rendition.
Thank you for that.
Yes. Nothing I'd like least.
But it was a #1 record.
No, he's lying.
Wasn't it? I thought it went to #1.
No, only got to #2, Michael.
Oh, just
I don't
number
like
two.
to exaggerate.
No. But did you nonetheless get this kind of adoration? Did people throw
I
knickers to
certainly
you?
did.
You did.
They didn't know. When Jim talks about knickers on the stage, those were his camera knickers. with the kite gusset.
All the success of that record proves is there's a lot of tone-deaf people in this country.
A lot of discerning music lovers that were glad to see Hindemith followers and Shostakovich men bought that record. But no, I didn't. I think I remember telling you that when I sung it on Top of the Pops, to protect myself, I brought out armfuls of flowers, which I hurled to the children. And what the camera wasn't picking up was them hurling them back. Get off, you old fool!
What kind of reaction did you used to get in the days when the girls used to come and throw things on the stage?
Well, I never had that too much.
Oh.
Yes, you did.
Your fans didn't wear any, Andy.
What I mean was I was never a teenage kind of idol like Sinatra where they tore his clothes off, except in Japan. Japan was a little bit that way with me. But in the States, my career was a very slow-growing thing. Over the years, I became popular from records and television, but never that kind of teeny bopper kind of adulation. Never had that.
When you were starting out, did you have anybody that you looked up to and that you followed?
Well, I was really brought up as a group singer, and I was interested in group singing until I found myself in the position of either getting a job or going out and singing alone, because my brothers didn't want to do it anymore. And so I went to New York and did all these clubs, you know, the ones that I was talking about, the ones that are very difficult. Luckily, I got on television, on The Tonight Show. And then television was really the beginning.
Oh, is that
No, it's not. It's not the Johnny Carson
I
Tonight.
just spat the mic thing.
This was.
Johnny Carson?
Johnny who?
I mean, I don't know why all this talk of comparing you and Johnny Carson.
No comparison. No comparison.
What I'm trying to work out is a poster campaign that's going up in London, which says the show that makes Michael Parsons
that's
sound
wonderful,
like
isn't it?
Michael
I
Parsons.
wrote that one.
You wrote that one. It's very Irish.
It is.
I
Yes.
suppose we ought to explain to the rest of the populace about who Johnny
Carson is.
Shouldn't we?
Yes.
You're not going to give him a plug, are you?
He's a diminutive but plucky American, with, almost as old as you, Michael. You've got grey hair, brother with the Grecian 2000, and he gets up, and, oh, so I did. That's free supplies for me for the rest of the year. But he gets up and tells jokes, and you wouldn't understand them, viewers, any more than you understand this fella here.
That's right. can we just talk for a moment about one aspect of your career? Because you've done everything in the career. You've played every kind of conceivable kind of horn, done everything in the business, movies and a lot. But it is not generally known that it is reckoned that you were Lauren Bacall's singing voice in a film called To Have and To Have Not. Now she claims this, does she not, in her autobiography?
I believe she does.
She does, yes. No. Did you did in fact do it, did you? Or...
Sing for Lauren Bacall?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
You did?
I was about 15 years old. Now, they don't believe this, I know.
She had a very deep voice. She had a very deep voice.
She had a very deep
No
voice.
reflection on you, would you say?
No, and I was doing a movie, or I was in a movie with my brothers, and I went into to the musical director, Dudley Chambers, to say that I'd like to go out and play some baseball, that I'd finished with my homework. And he said, wait a minute, and he heard this voice, this speaking voice, and he had been trying to find a girl to sing for Lauren Bacall, because she didn't sing very well at that time. And he had auditioned everybody. Bob Hope's wife auditioned for it, because she used to sing. A lot of black girls who had low voices auditioned. And so he took me over to sound stage, and here's this great big screen with Lauren Bacall moving her lips, and he said, you can read music, can't you? I said, yes, I couldn't, but I said I could. And so I sang along with her as she was moving her lips, and they said, that's it. So I came in the next day and did it.
Well, we've got a clip of it.
You do?
It's here, yeah. Coming up now, it's Lauren Bacall in To Have and To Have Not, and in fact, sitting at the piano accompanying her is Hobie Carmichael, of course.
Take over. Was a time I was his only one, but now I'm the sad and lonely one. So lonely was I gay today till today. Now she's gone work through, baby, am I blue?
Would you like to announce a disclaimer?
Yeah, that definitely was not me.
Put in the right one. I think it's interesting that the fellow playing the fiddle behind was, in fact, old Jimbo here.
Yeah. Can anybody sing?
I think so. It's not very hard to say.
Really?
Well, I mean, if they can have a hit record, anybody can have a hit record.
That's true.
I mean, I think you could sing it. Did you sing?
I can't sing, no. I mean, actually did make a record that he's on. It never got
we did.
released.
Yes, Jim and I sang a duet on that, but
Yeah, really?
mercifully it was never released. No.
I think I could teach you to sing.
Yeah, go on, Michael, have a go.
Well, just,
Yeah, sing a
just
few bars or something.
to
Go on.
get
Go
an
on.
idea
You
how
can't
far
play golf, but you're still going the course. Go on, Andy.
to see how far you've progressed, so
Yeah.
I'll know where to start. Just start singing anything.
This would be great.
Anything?
I mean, anything. Just
Moon River.
well, first of all, I can see that you've had some lessons. The most important thing, I think, is to realize that today with microphones, you don't have to sing. You don't have to sing high. You can sing low. Sing it in a little lower pitch, maybe. You know, because you are a masculine kind of image, and so I would sing it about as low in pitch as I could if I were you.
All right. Moon River, wider than a stream. Smile.
I think it's now with microphones, you don't really need to sing.
I'm getting one of my headaches.
You don't have to. But you don't. With the microphone technique that people use now and for records, which I assume is what you're really talking about, and television, you don't need to sing loud. So I'd sing even softer. So try it a little softer.
So we can't hear you.
A little lower.
Wider.
A little softer. A little softer. Softer. A little softer. That's about as good as you'll ever sing.
I'll leave it to you three experts to assault the popular music market. You're in fact going to sing for us now your latest single,
Yes.
which is called Regrets.
Regrets. I did this with a girl. the girl singer. And
Yes.
we recorded this in Nashville, Tennessee, and the girl was in the studio to show me a song. I didn't know her, and I went over the song several times, and she was in the booth listening to it, and then pretty soon she was singing along with it, just out of boredom, I guess, because I kept doing it over and over and over. And the producer thought it sounded kind of good, and he said, "Would you like to go out in the studio and do this as a duet with Andy?" And she said, "You're kidding." And he said, "No, try it." So she came out, and that's the way it happened to be a duet.
Which explains the presence of that attractive lady over there.
That's right.
On keyboard.
Yes.
Whose name is?
Her name is Linnell Davis. Very pretty. From Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas. And the Willows.
I wish that I could take back all the things I've done that hurt you. I didn't mean to be so cruel, and yet I know that I've been selfish and at times a jealous fool.
And every thoughtless thing I've done keeps coming back to haunt me, because you took each one to heart.
Now as I realize that it's my fault, we've grown worlds apart. I have regrets for my mistake in thinking only of myself. Now all that I have left are these regrets for the things I did that somehow you just can't forgive. I guess I'll always have to live with these regrets. If I could right the wrong I've done, maybe I could stop your leaving. But there's so much I'm guilty of, but it's too late to say I'm sorry, 'cause being sorry is not enough.
And with each angry word I said, your love for me was dying, and each word left a lasting scar.
And right now I feel so helpless, wishing I could change the way things are. I have regrets for my mistake in thinking only of myself. All that I have left are these regrets for the things I did that somehow you just can't forgive. I guess I'll always have to live with these regrets.
Just about up for time. There's lots of things I want to talk to you about, golf including. golf. I had a clip of film which I didn't show, which of Wogan holding a 35-yard putt or something. It's amazing.
Yes, it should be in the Guinness Book of Records, but I suppose rather like the gong, only jealousy will keep me out.
Yes.
I get along with that, Andy. I don't know why.
Do you?
I'm a very engaging person.
I know.
People hate that.
You were also going to dig out a piece of film of me singing in a film.
We couldn't find it.
No,
I've
I
seen
know.
that film, Jim. I've seen that film.
You-
Diana Dawes was in that.
That's right.
That's right.
I
I've
think
seen
it was
most
called
of your
Lady
work.
Godiva Rides Again, it was called.
Huh?
I think. 30 seconds worth of
Lady
me.
Godiva Rides Again. That's exactly what it was called.
Right.
A young Diana Dawes. She was 3 at the time, and Jim was about 45, weren't you?
All right. Do you have a golfing story to tell us before
Well,
we
no,
go?
I was recounting my golfing feats to an Irish friend recently, and he said, "Did you hear about the 2 Irish fellas?" And I'm not a great lover of Irish jokes for obvious reasons, but the 2 Irish fellas who'd never seen golf before, they're looking at the golf, you see, and Christy O'Connor, who's a great golfing hero, sinks a 15-yard putt, you see, and one of them turns to the other and says, "Geez, he'll never get it out of there."
All right, then. Okay, then. My thanks to Jimmy Young, to Terry Wogan, and to Andy Williams. All the best with the tour, Andy.
Thank you.
Come back when you come back here again.
I will.
Our next show is on Wednesday. We'll see you then. From all of us here, until then, very good night. Good night.